Let's just give a few more minutes for others to join in. In 2 minutes, I think we should be started. Mr. Confidence, welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Mr.
We
Enoch.
can't hear you, sorry.
You can't hear me? What about now?
Still.
Okay, just give me a moment.
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
Oh my God.
He's audible.
It's audible, so it's my side.
Yeah, maybe you have to check your side.
So I'm the one with the problem.
Okay, how's everyone? You're free. You can feel free to unmute your mic and just say hi.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it was my
Okay.
PC that was misbehaving.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So hi everyone. We have about 17 people here. And welcome to Mzansi Web3 ICP Hub hackathon. So we're going to be running this from today until about the 23rd of February, and then we'll have a hackathon. I'm sure most of you have read some details about the hackathon and everything. So just to take a moment, I see somebody's raising their hand. Ketumile, you are free to speak if you have something to say. I see you've raised your hand.
Thank you.
I hope I said your
just
name the
joined.
correct.
You said it the correct way. It's Mkitumile, the second president of Botswana.
I see.
I'm new. I just joined in right now, and I hope
Okay.
I'm not too late. I was just confirming if I'm not too late.
Definitely. Did you manage to sign up on the form? Did you fill out the form?
I did fill up the form,
Okay.
and
So you're not late.
I just yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
you're
did
not
fill up
late.
the form.
This is the first session. Okay, this is the
All
first
right,
session, so
all
you're
right.
not late. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so
So
much.
awesome. So again, everyone, welcome to Mzansi Web3. My name is Confidence Nyirenda. I'm from Zimbabwe. I was born and bred here. Currently, I'm in the city of Harare. Probably most of you have been to Zimbabwe before. And with me is Enoch. He's the one with the other video that is on. His name is Enoch Chirima. I'll let him introduce himself just after I've introduced myself also. But at Mzansi Web3, I am the dev role, and also I am the hub lead for the Zimbabwean chapter. So the purpose of what we are doing here is introducing you guys to Web3 development. And this is open to everyone. You could be new to programming. You could be new to Web3. You've never heard about Web3. This is still a perfect place for you to get started and learn more about Web3. Sometimes you might end up not being a developer. There are so many pathways that you can take from here. You can become a programs manager. You can become a project manager in the Web3 space. You can also become a lot of different things or different jobs that you can actually apply for. But what is really important in the field is for you to understand the basics of everything and how the Web3 operates. That will be a real good advantage for yourself. So I'll let Enoch introduce himself and just talk a little bit about what he is doing. Enoch is based in South Africa. So Enoch, you can take it away. I think your mic is muted.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. It's really good and exciting to finally get to talk to you all and meet you virtually. So yeah, I am Enoch Chirima, also a Zimbabwean, but I'm based in South Africa. I'm in Durban at the moment. I'm a software engineer and a DevRel at MW3. I will be also like the instructor for the boot camps, mostly on the technical side, helping you guys with homeworks, coding challenges, etc. So yeah, that's it about me. We're really excited to have you guys. I have to say I was really impressed with some of the expectations you highlighted on the form from what you're expecting from this boot camp. Some just want to learn Web3, some want to make their portfolio stronger, some want to have to see the next unicorns come up from this hackathon, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. It's really exciting. So yeah, that's it for me. We'll get to know each other more as we get into the program and work together. So yeah, it's a confidence. You can take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Enoch. So me and Enoch, we are both developers. We work together. We've been working together for almost a year now. And so you will not be learning from people who have not done the stuff that they're going to be teaching you. We've built on the blockchain. And we currently have some softwares that are running on the blockchain. So it will be exciting to see you guys learn and also then transition to actually building stuff. That is really awesome. So in today's sessions, we are just going to discuss between now and 9 o'clock. We're just going to discuss about what the blockchain is and just do a short introduction to what the internet computer is and what you can potentially do about it. So I'll have some Q&A after the two presentations that I have. So if you have your questions, just jot them down and then you can ask them when I am done with the presentation. And that's just for interest's sake, how many of us have a better understanding of what blockchain is? You can just show by probably an emoji in the comment section. If you understand what blockchain is, just feel free to indicate it in the comment section as I bring up my slides here. Okay, get to me there. Okay, I researched a bit about it as soon as I heard about the hackathon. Awesome. Pakama, I've seen, I hope you guys, I'm saying your names correctly. Forgive me if I don't say your name correctly. I've been to Botswana before, but I didn't get to stay for a very long time. I know a couple of words, Tumela, and how to basically greet people. But yeah, it's interesting to see people are saying just a little bit. So don't worry, guys. I'll go and dive deep into what the blockchain is so that you can understand. So again, if you have a question, just keep your question until I'm done with the slides, and then you are feel free to unmute your mic and ask anything that you want to ask. Okay. So what is the blockchain in essence? Blockchain, in a way, has many meanings according to the Trust Machine that was published in The Economist on 31 October 2015. So to understand the power of blockchain system and the things that they can do, it is important to distinguish between three things that are commonly muddled up. So when somebody speaks about blockchain, there are three things that you can't, if you are explaining what the blockchain is, you have to distinguish those three things. So that is namely Bitcoin, which is the currency. why do we mention Bitcoin more frequently? It's because it's one of the most practical blockchain use cases that really got everyone interested in what the blockchain is. And then there's the specific blockchain that underpins it and the idea of the blockchains in general. So Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency or token that really got everyone interested or speaking about the potential of what blockchains can do. So on one side, we have Bitcoin as a currency. That's something that you can just use to move value. That's something that you can just use to transfer value from one place to the other. But then there's the technology that is behind it that you really don't have to know if you just want to send value. And that is what we are calling the blockchain. So that's the technology that is underpinning the Bitcoin currency. So to make you understand, just think about a phone. So the idea of if somebody is to say, what is a phone really, right? So the idea of a phone network is something that you can use to describe what a phone is, or a specific phone network, like AT&T that is in America. I know in Botswana there is Mascom and other networks, and also a specific use of the phone network, e.g. a fax. So all these things, they kind of have an explanation as to what a phone means. And then if you are to do the same comparison with the blockchain, so the blockchain is the idea of the blockchain. And then the specific blockchain that underlines a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or another coin of any nature. We will speak about other cryptocurrencies that are in the world today. And then Bitcoin itself or any other cryptocurrency. So then really what is the blockchain? So this is a technology that permits transactions to be gathered into a block, into blocks and recorded cryptographically, and then it chains those blocks in a chronological order, and it allows the resulting ledger to be accessed by different servers. So let's take a look at the two things so that you can get a better understanding. Why is it necessary for us to have what we call a blockchain? Why was it even created in the first place? And what is really the use case of these two different systems? So you can think of the first example, centralized ledger. So with a centralized ledger, an example is a bank, right? So a bank, what it basically does, it is the middleman for everyone in, let's say, Botswana, right? If you want to do a transaction, even if you are standing with your friend and he says, okay, send me a bank transfer or maybe mobile money. When they send you that transfer and then it instantly reflects in your account, it might seem like it jumped from your phone into their phone or from their phone into your phone. But in reality, what really happened is you are here as the client A. Your transaction will go through a bank, and from a bank, it will then proceed to the person or whoever you are sending to. What this means is that the bank knows your transaction. They have details about you. They have details about your transfer, and they kind of maybe know what you were paying for, right? So there are multiple ledgers, but the bank holds the golden record. So they kind of have everyone's details, they have everyone's information, and they have the records of the transactions that you have done. So client B must reconcile its own ledger against that of the bank, and must convince the bank of the true state of the bank ledger if discrepancies arises. So in case where there is a dispute about a transaction or there is something that has happened, a problem of some sort, whoever, or maybe the friend that you have sent the transfer, they can go to the bank and they can query at the bank and ask, okay, can you please help me to understand what happened to my transaction? And then they can solve the issue with the bank, so that whatever their ledger or the ledger of the person who is receiving this money is saying is the same thing is being said by the bank. So really, if you are to look into this system, you'll see that there is something that is really difficult about this kind of a system. It is centralized. That means it has a single point of failure. If whoever is managing the bank, right, let's say it's one person, hypothetically speaking, let's say we are a community of people, all these people that are in this call, we are 22 of us. And we say, okay, we need to decide. We all have money. Sometimes we might not need to keep the money at our houses. And then we decide, okay, we'll let Enoch keep the money for us. So who is Enoch here? Enoch is acting as the bank. And then we give all our monies to Enoch. But then probably Enoch will think, I can make more money from these people's money. They start using that money in whatever way they are doing, and they do not share the profit with you. That means that if they take the risk with the money and they tend to lose the money, what issues are going to arise? People are going to lose the monies that they have deposited. We have seen this with banks that are in the United States. Here in Zimbabwe, it's very common. There's issues where depositors, they lose all of their money because the bank has failed to balance their sheets. They have failed to comply by the rules and keep the money that they have been given to by the people they've been trusted by the people safe. So when we have such a situation, that means that there is a single point of failure. Anything can happen. The bank can make bad decisions about keeping that money. It doesn't mean that when they're keeping your money, it's just there in the bank and it's just laying idle. The truth of the matter is banks use all our monies. They use our monies. The moment you deposit, 90% of it is taken away to do some kind of business. And then the opposite of that is a distributed ledger. Now, remember, on the bank side, we have what we are calling the golden record. It's just one ledger, right? That means somebody can delete a transaction or they can create fake money. We all know. There are so many countries where you can go, you hear people say, oh, you have to be really careful about getting fake money, right? All of those things are the problems that we face in this society because we have systems that have a lot of pause, or they have a lot of problems and single point of failures because they are centralized. So a distributed ledger, there is one ledger. All the nodes, as you can see here, this is distributed. All the nodes have some level of access to that ledger. All nodes agree to a protocol that determines the true state of the ledger at any point in time. The application of this protocol is sometimes called achieving consensus. Okay, so again, to the same example, let's say we are a community, all the people that are in this call. What we can do is, instead of trusting Enoch with our money and giving him our money, okay, we can decide to say, okay, we can have a certain storage that is governed by everybody who is in this community. Or we can say, whenever a transaction happens, we have to alert everyone. So if I send money to Pakama, okay, I've sent 200 puller or 1,000 puller to Pakama. I have to let the whole community know that I've sent this transaction. Okay, so when I've updated all of you, we all have what we are saying is achieving consensus. We all agree, okay, confidence paid $1,000 to 1,000 pullers to Pakama. Probably it was in exchange of some goats. And those goats, everybody knows in the community that I now own these goats. Maybe people were used to seeing, be it a cow or goats, at Pakama's compound. Now it's in my compound. So with that agreement, even if Pakama tomorrow comes and say, those are my goats or those are my cows, okay, what we'll simply do is ask the whole of the community or everyone here, like, to whom do these goals belong, or what Pakama saying correct? If there is more than 3 people that say it's incorrect, then that is also achieving consensus. There is disagreement, and whatever the claims that Pakama is giving will be discredited. So what is a distributed ledger, right? So we have a single entity and we have multiple entries. Okay, so these are 2 different types. So this is kind of closed. When we have a single entity distributed ledger, the information is just distributed to all the nodes and then they agree, okay? And then whatever they have agreed, they all know that this is what has happened. And then we have multiple entries. So we have the nodes representing themselves, and some nodes can know something that other nodes cannot know about. But at least there is also the state of achieving consensus. So how might a distributed ledger work? So at this stage, the first stage, we have a user who initiates a transaction using their digital signature. So the digital signature is just like your fingerprint. It's unique. No one can ever have it. No one can have a similar identity, even if you are twins, just like the fingerprint. So with the digital signature, the user can broadcast their transaction, that they have done this transaction. So it's just like I've sent to Pakama, then I distribute, or I tell everyone, I broadcast, I've sent this amount of money to Pakama, and in return, this is what has happened during the transaction. So we are all nodes. Just think of yourself as a node. You're just being given information in a distributed manner, and you store that information. Then one or more nodes begins validating each transaction. So there's now the validation of that transaction. Did this transaction really happen? It has been broadcasted. The issue now is we need the proof. Did that happen? If it is done, if it has happened, then that node will then say, okay, this transaction has happened. Then the nodes aggregated validated transaction into the blocks. And then the next stage, the nodes broadcast blocks to each other. So the nodes then inform each other of the blocks that are now part of the chain. Then the consensus protocol is used. Then the next thing is the block reflecting true state is chained to the prior block. So whenever information is distributed and it is then recorded, it is put in a block, and that block is chained to the previous transactions that have happened. Where might blockchain use cryptography? So cryptography is just the technology that you basically use right? So just think of password on your phone, or the password on your, what do you call it, Facebook account, your Twitter account. That is basically the same technology here that we are talking about. So where is it being used in a blockchain system? So there's the initiation and broadcasting of transaction. That is the digital signature that we spoke about. So there's a unique ID that is generated that can never be replicated. No matter if tomorrow the earth has more than 14 billion people, everyone will still have their own digital signature. And then the creation of a private and a public key. We will learn more about that as we go. Then there's the validation of a transaction. So the proof of work and certain alternatives. So the proof of work is the technology that is used to actually verify between transactions. That was the first method of validating transactions that was created. Right now, you'll hear about the proof of stake and other more, I don't know, confusing proofs of whatever. And then there's something that are called hash functions, which is really important when a block is created. So the power of distributed ledgers. So a distributed ledger It can be used without a central authority, by individuals or entities with no bias to trust each other. It can also be used to create value or issue assets. It can be used to transfer value or the ownership of assets. Like the example that I was just giving. When I buy some goods from whoever, everything is broadcasted to every node. Now every node knows who is the true owner of that. If somebody comes and tries to claim something that does not belong to them, all the nodes will just have a consensus agreement and say, okay, we don't know anything about it, and then that is totally discredited. So a human being or a smart contract can initiate the transfer. We'll explain more about what smart contracts are in the next coming lectures. So it can also be used to record those transfers of value or ownership of assets. These records may be very difficult to alter, such that they are sometimes called effectively immutable. So this is one of the biggest advantages of the blockchain. You hear a lot of people talking about immutability or saying that it's immutable. You can't change what has happened already. So if a transaction has been recorded, nobody can go back and say, okay, we want to delete this transaction. It has already happened and it cannot be reversed. Unlike with a bank transfer or within a bank system or in a centralized system, somebody can just go and delete a record, just remove it on an Excel sheet or whatever. I don't know what they use to record transactions or what they record. Probably land registry is some of those places where you actually see these problems, where people are disputing about land. It's because somebody has maybe deleted a record or they've altered a record and then it's saying something else. Then lastly, it can be used to allow owners of assets to exercise certain rights associated with ownership and to record the exercise of those rights. So the degree of trust between users determines the technological configuration of a distributed ledger. So what you'll find out is, in today's world, there is a lot of different blockchains. Why? Because all of them are solving different problems. They are all doing different kind of things. So because of that, they are built in different ways. The Bitcoin blockchain is built different from the Ethereum blockchain. It is built different from the internet computer blockchain. So trying to understand how my distributed ledger proposals differ. So number one, we have participation. So when we say participation is open, we are talking about, okay, this is a blockchain where any random person from, I don't know, the whole of Earth, they can come and participate and use that blockchain. So we call it open. It's an open blockchain. And then the opposite of that is what we call a closed blockchain. So you normally see these closed blockchains in a scenario like a company, right? They want to use a blockchain, but you can't have the data being distributed to everyone. So it has to be closed. A perfect example can be probably maybe a mining company. They don't want the records to be known by everyone, but by the staff and everyone who's involved, probably the board members and the executives. They want a record. I know in Botswana there is a lot of diamonds. Imagine De Beers has or implements a system where every diamond that is discovered or that is mined is kind of put or recorded on the blockchain, and that information cannot be changed. What we can implement is what we call a closed blockchain. In other words, we use what is called permissionless or a permissioned blockchain. That means if you need to participate within that blockchain, you need to be given permission. But this one is permissionless. An example is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you don't need any permission from anyone to start using Bitcoin. All you have to have is your internet connection, probably a mobile phone, download a wallet, and you start using Bitcoin. And then validation methods. So methods depends on the degree of trust between nodes. Where there is no basis for trust, may be achieved through proof of work, which requires the algorithmic solving of a cryptographic hash function. Then the consensus mechanism. So here there's no really like which validation method that is going to be used or the consensus mechanism. They all differ as to what really needs to be achieved according to what levels of trust need to be achieved also. So mechanism depends on degree of trust between nodes where there is no centralized authority. Consensus may be determined algorithmically. Okay, so just to give a recap of what we were speaking about blockchain and the reason why blockchain came into existence or why it has been widely adopted. I'll use an example of money. Money has gone through evolution. We have moved from using, or probably should we start from barter trading? So back in the days, people used to barter trade. You exchange your grains probably for 2 goats. I don't know, goats are just coming in my mind. But you exchange your goats for some grains, or you exchange probably some iron, or maybe something that you have crafted for probably a bucket of some grain. Okay, that was barter trading. That was a form of money. And then there was introduced things like some coins. So some kings introduced some coins and said, okay, you can work for the king. And if you work for the king will give you some coins. Some kings were using some gold coins. They would pay you in gold coins. And then what do you do with those gold coins? You can go to a marketplace. You can go to another person who's selling something, and then you buy. So everybody knew that these gold coins, probably they are worth 5 golds. So you can just directly go to the person who's selling golds. Hey, dude, this is the gold that I have. Can you please, these are the gold coins, I mean, that I have. Can I please have those golds? The reason why people then decided to move from barter trading to the next type of money, which is the gold coins, is because with barter trading, there were problems that were associated. Speak of what we call the double coincidence of wants. So if I have golds, there has to be somebody who wants those goods. Okay. Or maybe I have some grain. There has to be somebody who wants those grains. If that does not happen, that means I'm not going to trade with anyone. I'm not going to trade with anyone. Okay. So because of those problems, they decided, okay, let's have something that is common to everyone, something that everyone will want. And then from there, there was the introduction of coins that were backed by governments, they were backed by gold, and then we had currency, we had paper money, the US dollar, we had the euros, and then the same thing. During the gold coins era, when kings were offering the gold coins as a payment method, there were problems again that were associated within those times. People would take a gold coin, they would shave off the edges, okay? Before going to pay someone else, they would shave off the edges. And if you shave off probably 10, you would make another gold coin. So somebody has created money, where there was no money, and they would go and buy stuff. So then people moved to paper money, and then paper money came with its own problems, counterfeiting. So people were just creating fake money, and still to today, people are still facing that problem. The next stage was we are using bank transfers, we are using cards. I'm so sure most of you have heard people had their money stolen, double spending. Somebody would use the same money twice to purchase stuff. And yeah, card theft, identity theft, people's money would get stolen. So now from there was another evolution of money. Now we are at the stage where we have things like Bitcoin. Okay, where it's now difficult for you to counterfeit. You can't counterfeit Bitcoin. You can't counterfeit it. If you try to counterfeit it, the blockchain will just say, oh, there'll be no consensus there. They'll say, no, we don't know about that transaction. And then automatically that transaction is rejected. So this is the reason why all of these things have evolved up to today. And we are now at that stage also where other problems that we face in the world are being solved by different types of blockchain. And there's so many other applications of blockchain. So I'll take a moment to take some questions. If you guys have some questions, if you have a question, just feel free to raise your hand. Feel free to ask any questions, guys, if you need to. If there's anything that I didn't explain very well, you can just ask me. I'll explain anything to you again. Feel free. Okay, Mohumi. Please, you can unmute your mic. Feel free to ask your question, please.
Evening. Mine is more of I need a bit of clarification, right? I know a bit about blockchain, and famously so from Bitcoin, right? Thereby, the distributed ledger and the centralized ledgers. So the most commonly used form of blockchain is the distributed ledger, or like, I think that's where I'm a bit puzzled between centralized ledger and distributed ledger. They are forms of blockchain, or I don't know if I'm making sense. I hope I am.
Yeah, you are. I think I got your question. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have two types of ledgers. We have one which is centralized and one which is distributed. So a centralized ledger is one where there's only a single entity, or there's only one person. Like I said, if we are to say Enoch from today is the one who's recording transactions that has happened within this community, or of all the people that are in the, that means he's the only one who knows what's happening. He's the only one who knows what's happening. So he's the one who all the transactions and everything to himself. And he can do whatever, and there can be failures within the system. So that is centralized. It's not a blockchain. Once it's centralized, or if it is a centralized system or centralized ledger, it's not a blockchain because it's centralized. It only has one place where the recording or the records are being kept. But a distributed ledger, what it simply does is, once a transaction is done, it is not kept within one ledger. Okay, there's going to be copies of that ledger distributed to other people, right? In this instance, those are computers. So the computers, they also get a copy, and then they record in a way that, okay, there's a transaction that has happened. So imagine if in a distributed manner, another ledger is hosted in a different country. That means they can communicate and talk to each other, but they can never know any more information about each other. So just think of people, if we are all here, somebody is in Asia, somebody is in another country. So when a transaction is done between you and another guy, what happens? It is broadcasted, and then all the other nodes or all the other people, they take their ledger, they also record, instead of having one person doing the recording. I hope I made that clear.
Okay, thank you. I think it's clear. I think also the distributed ledger, blockchain alone, like the word blockchain makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah. So blockchain is a distributed ledger. A centralized ledger is not a blockchain. Bold, blessed, and winning. Please take it away. You can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My question, I don't know much about, I would say it's for the first time, like really meeting this blockchain thing, but I know a bit about Bitcoin. My question, I'm not sure if it would be a relevant question, but doesn't blockchain face challenges like maybe being hacked, like something like that?
Okay, that's a very good question, actually, bold and blessed. So, can a blockchain be hacked? Okay, so think about it. Let's just talk about the Bitcoin blockchain. That's it's been in existence for the past this is more than 10 years now, right?
Okay. Yes.
Can Bitcoin be hacked, or can their blockchain hacked? The answer is it might be possible, but then the
Okay.
cost or the money that you require for you to say you have successfully hacked a blockchain. So in Bitcoin, we have what we call the 51% attack. So that means
Okay.
when all nodes decide to reverse or to change what has been written already on the blockchain. And today, it will require you more than probably more than $3 to $4 trillion for you to be able to do that. Yes, that
Okay.
means you need all the computing power in the world. You need to have all the computers that are in this world to yourself to be
Okay.
able to do that kind of an attack. So you see the
Okay.
power of having all the nodes and all the blockchain technology. The issue is that once a transaction is done, it's recorded in different places. So that
Okay.
means if you need to change whatever has happened already, you need to alter each and every blockchain, each and every record or on the ledger of different computers wherever they are, and that is close to near impossible. It's not possible at all. So a
Understand.
Bitcoin, a blockchain cannot be hacked. It's impossible.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I hope I was
Thank you.
clear with that. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys? You can feel free to ask. I can take one or two more questions. Okay, awesome. So I'll move on to the next presentation. I'll try to be a little bit fast. So now we are going to be talking about something called the internet computer. So like I said, we have multiple blockchains today. I can actually, let me just remove this and just show you something real quick, guys. Since some of you, this is new to you, I'll just share with you my browser. Okay, so we have this website. I'll share it with you guys in the comment section. If you want, you can take a look at it later at your own spare time also. Here we have all the different cryptocurrencies. Not really concerned about the price or anything. We are really concerned about the technology here. And we have Ethereum, we have Tether, BNB, Solana. So the reason why we have all of this is because each and every one of them have a different function. I'll give you an example, Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created as an alternative to banks. Like I said, we had so many problems in the systems that we are using, the money that we are using today, such that humans decided to continue with the evolution of money. That is what led to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency to be used, something that was more solid. Other people in the past, they tried to create different types of cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin was one which was more robust because of the technology, or the blockchain technology, how it was implemented and built. And then there are other cryptocurrencies then that came between 2013, 2014, and today. And today we have, I don't know, more than 2 million projects that are trying to build something that is different, or something that is more innovative, and that has different use cases. But you can think of Ethereum as your smartphone. Your smartphone has applications. Okay, so Ethereum is like that place where it was built so that other developers can also build whatever they are thinking about building. The same goes for Solana. And then there is the internet computer. Yeah, this is the internet computer. This is the next evolution of the use case of blockchain, and that is what we are going to talk about in the next presentation. So allow me again to just share my screen again and just introduce you guys to what the internet computer is. Okay. So what is the mission of the internet computer? It is to revolutionize the internet into a decentralized, secure global computing platform. So this is the next phase. We have sorted the issues to do with money using Bitcoin, but those are not the only problems that we are facing in the world. We have hacking, which is an example that has been asked by Bold and Blessed. It's not only banks and other systems that are hacked. We have websites that have information that is very important information about people. We have websites like Facebook. We have websites like Twitter. People get hacked constantly. So we are moving the same technology to that industry. So you can think of the system that is being used by the normal websites that we use, Facebook and Twitter. They use the servers, centralized servers. Again, they have a single point of failure. So this is how it looks like as a physical machine. This is where all your data is stored and everything. If this gets hacked, then it's trouble for you. But now, in comparison, this is a network of computers. So imagine this same thing being distributed, and we have all over the world the same physical machines, and they are interconnected together and they communicate together, so that if information is to be stored, it's not stored in one place. It is distributed to different types of computers that are in that network. Then you can connect computers. So we have that single entity of computers, or the network of computers that is connected. And if we now connect those networks again, we're still creating the technology that we are calling here the internet computer. So what can you do, or why is it necessary, or why was it necessary to have the internet computer? So potentially you can store more data, you can install more software, and you can run more computations. So this is what you call a token operated network. So the internet computer blockchain is a token that is called ICP. That is what I showed you on CoinMarketCap. There we have a token that we use. So what is the uses of these ICP tokens? It is for installing software, running software, storing data, governance, and mining. So whenever you want to do some kind of operations, like you want to install some software, all that you need is some ICP tokens. And if you want to run that software again, you need some tokens. Stored some data, you need some token. You don't have to think about, this is not a lot of money actually for you to do all these operations. It's not a lot of money. Most of you will see it while you are building that you don't need a lot of tokens. Probably one ICP token, which is like $13. I think that's like 130 pullers. Yeah, if you convert it into pullers. So that's the only probably money that you need to run probably for almost 6 months or more, depending on what you are building and how big it is. Then we have what is called governance. Again, we are still in the blockchain industry, okay? For us to have an agreement or as to what needs to be built next or what features we are adding next to whatever we are building, we have what we call governance. So we just don't have a single entity saying, okay, we are going to do this next. We are going to do that next. Because this network is being used by a lot of people. And those people have interest in how this thing is governed. So they kind of have a say. So you can actually have a say as to what as to what is going to be built next on the network that you're using, which is the internet computer. Right. So the internet computer, the coordination of independent data centers jointly performing any computations for anyone. So again, this is a type of permissionless blockchain. If you remember when we spoke about an open blockchain. So on the internet computer, you can actually create and install and run all the applications. You don't need to ask anyone for permission. As long as you have your tokens, you can start doing whatever you want to do. As compared to other platforms, probably if some of you have developed some applications, there are certain types of applications that you might not be allowed to actually run on certain platforms. So what does this do? It creates the internet computer blockchain and ensures machines agree on sequence of computations to be carried out. So what I'm basically speaking about here, just like the website that you use on a day-to-day basis, it can be hosted fully on the blockchain without any need to be hosted on the servers that's, I'm not sure some of you if you've deployed websites before, but if you've deployed a website before, you know that you need to create an account with probably GoDaddy and then buy some hosting space and then deploy your website. If GoDaddy does not like that website or the content that is on your website, they might take it down. So with the internet computer, we have this structure. So at the right at the bottom, there's the data centers that we spoke about. That is where the data is stored. And then here we have the internet protocol, or the internet, just to the ICP protocol. This is now the blockchain where you can run your applications. Okay. So this is the internet computer public cyberspace. So all of these, we call them canisters. You will learn about them. This is all the applications where you install your application, run them, and do all the other computations that you might need to do. So within the internet computer, you'll hear a lot of words, and one of it is canister. What is canister smart contract? So canister smart contracts are fast, they run in parallel, and they scale. So this is what it looks like. So here we have what is called WebAssembly, which is the code. For some of you who have written code before, you write your code, when you compile it, it is transformed into what we call the WebAssembly. And then we have some data that is also stored in the same canister. So this is the structure of how a canister is, or what it looks like. You hear a lot about canisters, installing a canister, running a canister, and everything, and how they communicate on the internet computer. So you do not need to worry if you don't really understand much of this. So still, these are some of the things that you can still interact your canisters, your canister, or maybe the technology that we are using here on the internet computer. So for example, at the front end, right, you can still use the normal browsers that you have, Firefox, Brave, Google Chrome, or maybe if you are using Safari, you're on a MacBook or something like that. So every front end technology, probably JavaScript, React, Angular. You can think of all the things that you can, or the libraries that you can use to build any front-end architecture, HTML. It can also be hosted on the internet computer. And at the back end, we have a language that is called Motoko that we are going to be learning about during this this whole bootcamp. Then we have TypeScript and another language called Rust. So for the hackathon, it is important for you to have an understanding of JavaScript. But if you don't understand still, you can still take some baby steps and learn as you are trying to build something during this this period. So you also have to have an understanding of what Git is and GitHub. And then don't worry about this. I actually forgot to remove this decade information, but anyway, you need basically to have an understanding a little bit of programming and how the programming principles for you to quickly learn about Motoko. It's not a very difficult language. If you've used JavaScript before, it's not very difficult for you to get started. But again, if you are still new to this, you can still take a look and see. I'm so sure you'll learn one or two things from it during the week. Then what is expected of you? So number one, you can do your submissions as an individual. And then again, you need to have an understanding of GitHub because that's where you are going to be submitting your work. If you do not understand how GitHub works, also do not worry, we'll share all that information so that you guys can get started. If you want to form a team, you are allowed. You can be part of a team, but as a team, you don't need to be more than 5 individuals. And then you are supposed to submit your project. If you work as a team or as an individual, you can submit on the GitHub. And then you are also supposed to finish the coursework that we are going to be giving to you guys during this week. So that is it all. I can see we are almost at 9. We are 9 o'clock past 9. So I'll just take some questions. If you have anything that you want to understand, feel free to ask any question. There's no question that is too small to be asked. So you can ask any questions. Feel free to just raise your hand and ask anything that you might want to ask. Okay, I don't know if Bod and Blessed, you're still raising your hand from the previous question that you asked, but I'll go with is it Fenyo? Please, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay, my question is more on the dates and the preparations for the whole hackathon.
Yes.
Yes. If I understood you say the training session will be online until the 23rd. Yes. And then there's going to be a physical hackathon at UB on there. I didn't get that part, the actual dates.
Okay, so yeah, we are running from the 12th until the 23rd. Confirm, Mr. Enoch. And then
yes, that's good.
Yes. And then we'll also announce if we are going to have a physical hackathon, or actually if you are going to still continue online with the hackathon. We'll give you more information on that, probably by tomorrow. We'll post that in the Telegram group. But thank you for that question. Pakama.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, you
yes,
can continue.
And if it's physical, please give details on the plans for things like food, meals, transport, just anything to help us know what is expected of us.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, sir. We'll definitely do that by tomorrow morning. Yes, Pakama, you can go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much. Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for facilitating this. I'm a bit interested more in what we can do with ICP in terms of depth. I would like to develop that area, and I would also want to know more about the nodes. Because most blockchains, as you know, are not really concentrating on Africa per se, or there haven't been any African developed blockchains. So we seem to always receive waves of different blockchains, and we kind of get confused on which one we should develop. ICP versus, what do you call it, the other ones. But it's mostly, I think it's about costs and gas fees. I would want to more interested in how do we establish more nodes so that we are, I guess it would be a group. I know in South Africa there are few, but I think that's about it for Africa. I'm not sure. Yep, so that's kind of my rough question, but thank you very much.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for saying, and also for mentioning that. I mean, yeah, so it's possible to host nodes. There is more information, and we can always help out if you have some interest in doing that. There's a couple of other people that are starting to get interested in hosting some nodes within Africa. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of ways you can actually participate within the process. Start using like the example of what you're mentioning of hosting nodes. And yes, it's possible. You can get in touch. We can see how much. If you are interested in getting started on that, we can see how much help we can give and support until that is achieved.
Yeah, just to add on that, it's really a cool initiative we are talking about. There's actually a company down here in South Africa that is like facilitating and supporting onboarding of providers on the ICP, trying to help them in so many ways. One of the problems, maybe not a problem really, is that like at the moment, the internet computer, what they call like, currently there is a target topology, which means that at the moment they are not onboarding new nodes, but maybe in the next 6 months or a year, when the subnets are like, they've reached their capacity and they need expansion, they will start onboarding new nodes. So I think it's something to, if you're really interested in it, maybe like Mr. Gondel said, get in contact. We can keep talking, and also you can, if you're really interested, you can even like put some proposals. So right now at the moment on the NNS, on the internet computer, like for node to be a node provider, and then just wait in the pipeline for the next time when the nodes are being onboarded. But yeah, it's really cool. Let's get in touch and we'll see what we can come up with. Thank you for asking.
Sure. Thanks for that. I'll definitely do. I think from a beginner level, and also trying to introduce it to a more viable corporate level, they want to understand where their data is stored, and those are the kind of the barriers that we face trying to commercialize these applications specifically for the African continent. So thank you very much for that. I think. I'll be in touch and I'll tell you how far we've gone on the ground here. I'm also based in Botswana. I'm from Zimbabwe, but from Bulawayo, but I'm based here in Botswana. I do NFTs actually on the blockchain.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I remember
That's
we
awesome.
met on Twitter Spaces some time ago.
Yes, so I'm always trying to learn new blockchains. Like
Yes.
what's really been a problem is African centric and my people. I've been teamed with other people, but not from the continent, and that is really a problem
Yeah.
because I think eventually people from different mindsets and not the same understanding that we've got infrastructure problems here. So sometimes it's not as easy to match what when the West is doing with blockchain compared to what we're trying to do with it here on the ground.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Guys, any other questions? Anyone with any questions before we end this session? I hope this was really fruitful for you guys. But we still have a lot of things to learn. We'll share more resources. Feel free to have a chit chat in the Telegram group. We'll be there to help you out. I'll be sharing more resources on what we spoke about today, the blockchain, some videos you can go and watch on your own spare time and understand more about the blockchain. So we are going to be running 2 sessions every day, one in the morning and one in the evening from 8 to 9, just like we did here. So we hope to see you guys in those sessions and see how much more we can achieve together. Mahumi, you can go ahead.
I have a question about the sessions.
Yeah.
The morning session and the evening session will be on the same topics, just
So no, not really to say it's on the same topic. So we'll run. So the morning session will be kind of different from what we were going to be talking about in the evening. So in the morning we'll run over what you're going to be doing during the day, or kind of your homework. And then in the evening, that's a session where you can come and ask your questions or just ask about any difficulties you've had during the day or during the exercises that you were doing, and then we can get to help out each other.
all right.
Oh,
Sessions are recorded, right?
They are recorded. We are going to be posting all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's awesome, guys. Thank you for attending this session. We hope to see you during the whole week as we go through. Again, feel free to reach out. We are in the Telegram group. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you're having some difficulty with understanding anything, feel free to ask. There's no question which is really small for you to ask. The aim of us doing this is so that you can also get to understand the internet computer and also have some freedom and actually experience the freedom that comes with it. Blockchain is here to liberate all of us, and the more you actually learn, the more you get to understand and free yourself in a way and use something that really protects you, or something that you can also get involved with. So we hope to see you in the next session we'll have tomorrow, our morning session. We'll post probably 2 hours before the session is started. And if you miss it, you can just go on YouTube. We'll also share some links where you can just go and watch and rewind everything that we have discussed. But just make sure you go through the exercises and try to actually learn more each and every day. In the evening sessions, we'll be helping you out with any challenges you have had during the day. And any other challenge that you have, feel free to come with it, and then we can help you out with that. Thank you very much, guys. And I hope you have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, good evening, everyone.
Bye, everyone.